Welcome back, everybody. This is the Next Level Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ant-Man Z, as always, with my main man, Crash Nash. If you guys can't tell from today's thumbnail, we're talking about the hottest thing going on in the NFL, Shedeur Sanders. He's going to be starting for the Cleveland Browns in this, is it Friday, Crash?
Friday night, yes, sir.
Friday
Against
night's
the
game.
Panthers.
Tell us your thoughts.
Well, as you know, I kept up on college football, and I've been keeping track of his career. I had to go back and even research all the way back when he was a boy. This is a tremendous story, and I think that people stop when they hear his dad. Not everybody loves Coach Prime Deion Sanders, okay? Right. Because of the glamour, and I think that they project that on him, but they don't really know him. But here's the deal.
Well, his dad is prime time, right?
Hey, man, I got him as the second best football player behind LT.
And listen, don't forget, not only was he good in football, but the man can play baseball too. He's a dual sport athlete, something that only a handful of people, I can think of 3 guys off the top of my head in the modern era that were good at doing that. So look, all opinions aside on Deion, he's one of the best athletes of all time, but you're telling us his son is a totally different person.
Oh yeah, and I'll get to that. But here's what I've not heard. Oh, maybe we can beat him to the punch. I've heard nobody saying this is where we come in, the spirituality part of it, on our faith in God. It's almost as if God has cleared the path for Shedeur. You know what I mean? Like the Red Sea being parted. I find it to be very interesting that everybody passed up on him. And all of a sudden, key injuries, and now it's almost like made the way for him to start the first preseason game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Speaking of interesting, I find that even more interesting because the news just came out 2 days ago, not even, that he was going to be the 4th QB on their depth chart. In fact, when I go to ESPN and I look at their depth chart, I see Joe Flacco as the starter, Kenny Pickett second, questionable, Dylan Gabriel, that was their first quarterback pick in the draft in the 3rd round, right? He's a 3rd round pick. And then Shedeur Sanders 4th. And those 2 guys are questionable. And of course, I guess Joe Flacco doesn't need the work, but that paved the way for Shedeur to step up and take the reins here coming into this game.
Yeah, and it's kind of a disadvantage to him because he didn't really get to go with the ones, and you don't get that chemistry. You know what I mean? I remember now, Ant, part of my Crash's history is, why can Crash talk like that? Well, because I led an 8th grade team to a championship, so I've got as a quarterback. I was doing my own plays in the huddle before even the great, Any Given Sunday, Willie Beeman. I'm just saying. So I identify. I can recognize. I know enough about the position in football to be able to make a correct assumption. Let's go back in his career, if we may. If we even talk about this Friday night. And I don't believe that people really watching Colorado, other than Colorado fans, I mean, the nation was, but let's go back. All throughout his career, he had to hear this. Daddy's boy, very painful. After games, they'd win, and he'd hear this rhetoric. So he's been primed. And also, his mentor, Coach Prime, brought him Tom Brady in to work with Shedeur. That's why he's so relaxed in the pocket, okay? That's why he can pre-read defenses. He is a scholar of the game because why? Coach Prime, brought all these people in and been coaching him since he was a little boy, right? So, and he's a winner. Like, he went from Jackson State, and they said, well, can he do it in the big Power 4 or 5 schools? And as you saw, okay, he did it at Colorado. They had an amazing season last year. Let's also add what all of a sudden, Travis Hunter and all his receivers at the NFL, all of a sudden, what, Shedeur is bad? Remember, he didn't have the year before, the first year he got to Colorado, I want to say he led FBC in being sacked. He even had a fractured back, guys, in the second, I think it was last game, the first year. Okay, so he was just taking shot after shot, right? So, but he still last year put up 74%, led college football. Okay, almost had 4,000 yards and almost 40 touchdowns with, let's just say, a doable line. Okay, he still didn't have let's say Oregon's line or Notre Dame's line. Okay, just some food for thought.
Yeah. Let me give you my thoughts on it. Not his history, but more his future. Right?
Okay.
Right now, he's on the Cleveland Browns. I don't think that anybody going into the draft would have paired him with that team unless he would have been an earlier round pick. But they took Dillon Gabriel. So once that ball rolled, you wrote them off completely. But here's my take on the whole situation. I'm just looking at the QB room as a whole. Number one, you got your main guy, Deshaun Watson. He's out for the season with an Achilles tear. So he doesn't even show on the radar. Let's not even discuss him. He's got his own separate issues off and on the field, but we won't even touch that. You've got Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was the NFL comeback player of the year in 2023. And then last year, he took a serious step back. And part of that is Crash, in my opinion. He's never been a great quarterback. He's always been a decent quarterback.
Great human being.
Oh, absolutely. Joe Flacco, the man, great man. Joe Flacco, the quarterback,
family man,
average.
Modest.
And Crash, he's fighting father time, right? He's not getting better and younger. He's getting older and more brittle. And
did that. I played until I was 41, so I get it.
Exactly. You understand that better than anybody. Well, I don't think that he has the talent to be a starting NFL quarterback. And I don't just mean career-wise. I mean where he is today in his life with his age, what he's done. And look, we're both older than him, so we can say that with ease. But let's move on from him, right?
Yeah,
so he is their starter. He is their starter right now.
I had a thought today.
Yeah.
It's really weird because Crash always goes deeper. I want the answer. I've been lied. We all, this day and age, especially, you get lied to so much. You hear so much coming from the press. You don't really know because remember, I was front office as well on a team. So I had a scenario and I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there for food for thought. That's why when we go live, we want to hear back from you guys. In fact, analysis.
We will actually be live. The next time you guys see us, it'll be live. So we'll be able to interact. We want you guys to comment. We want to hear your thoughts. You guys can help steer where we're going with this because we're not one of those anchored networks where we have to follow a script. As a matter of fact, Crash and I are about as scriptless as you can get. We even, before we start hitting record, we're like, don't even talk about anything. Let's just jump on and let it come out. Be our most natural selves and just do this unscripted. Well, when you guys see us live, you'll see that come to fruition even more. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, get ready for us to go live in the next time. And Crash, to touch on the subject that you're talking about there, about what is going to happen, let me give you my thoughts on the QB room as an overall. So Joe Flacco, right? He is who he is. Behind him on this depth chart, you have Kenny Pickett. I'm a Steelers fan. We drafted Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett had all kinds of knocks against him coming into the league. Not only has he not shown that he has the talent to be that elite level quarterback, but he's also shown a bad attitude that got him traded out of Pittsburgh. So you got him, and he's hurt. Then behind him, you have Dillon Gabriel. This is their third round pick. This is the guy they think might be the backup to Deshaun Watson. Because don't forget, they re-signed Deshaun. Again, we're not going to touch that. But with Dillon Gabriel, he is an under 6 foot quarterback. There is a very short list. Let me just read you quickly some of the guys I found that are part of this QB list of under 6 foot quarterbacks that are good. Russell Wilson, pretty good. Drew Brees, very good. Doug Flutie, okay. I mean, he won a few games. Kyler Murray's pretty good. And Michael Vick was pretty good in his day, especially as a dual threat quarterback. And then if you really want to go back in the day, Fran Tarkenton was right at 6 foot and Sonny Jurgensen was just under 6 foot. You always come with the stats, Crash, that tell us, so he's got an uphill battle. He's playing in the NFL against defensive linemen who are all over 6 foot tall that have massive wingspans. he doesn't have the physical capabilities, I believe, to
Yeah.
be an elite quarterback in the NFL, just size-wise. Now, compare that to Shedeur Sanders. Look, you can say what you want about Shedeur, and maybe he didn't have good pro days, and maybe he didn't have good interviews with the teams. Maybe he seemed distant and off-putting. But when it comes to physical specimens, he is one of them, and he has all of that to bring to the table that if he can somehow get a game together, I think physically he's got something you can develop.
Oh,
What
yeah.
are your thoughts?
Back to Dylan Gabriel, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but what I've seen in him is that he is short, and I believe he's having problem looking over his linemen. This is just Dylan. Some have been able to work it, and I believe he's having issues there. So let's go ahead and move to what I was going to share with you about a scenario. It's kind of like the system. When they charge somebody and convict them with a crime and they were not guilty, they're not going to come back and say, we were wrong. Yeah. Leadership, if they've got a problem on their hands now, okay? Leadership could, in fact, this could be two scenarios. Because if you didn't catch it, Ant, this is the big thing that's coming out, out of Cleveland, and everybody jumped on it, is the owner of Cleveland said that he didn't draft him. He wasn't even on his board. He would not have drafted him. You don't say that.
No.
Okay? Now watch, though. I just had a thought today.
Let me hit pause on you real quick before you share that thought. This is coming from a guy that perennially the Browns are known as the worst draft pickers in the history of the NFL. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So maybe it's better that he didn't have his say in it. But anyway, go on, Crash.
Well, he's not gonna want to look wrong again. Okay. What I'm saying is, and if I believe I know what Shedeur is, he's probably surprised him. Okay. And for whatever reason, I do not understand why all these teams bypassed him. But we can't do it. You can't do anything about that now. Let's just scratch all that. Let's talk about the present. Amen. Yep. So, I lost my train of thought because I got excited. What I was getting ready to say is, what if, watch this scenario. I don't know. What if the whole time, because remember, I was front office. What if this was just a boost? Because remember, these are young players coming in the NFL. What if it was a psychological thing? What if the whole time they knew what they had in Shedeur? And they're saying, and because of money also, they're sitting back going, hey, this kid's, you know what I mean? Somebody in the building drafted him. They saw
absolutely somebody that has the authority to pull the trigger too.
Okay. So what if, I'm just saying, what if even the owner, because listen, I don't trust many owners. I don't trust what they say. This could be a psychological. I'm not saying it is. I'm throwing some food for thought. What if they're just throwing something out there to the public, like they do on injury reports, and the whole time they know what they got? And I'm going to say something else. I'm not saying it's true. What if these other players really aren't as hurt as bad as they want, and the whole time do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
Or this is a divine intervention from God.
It could be both. To me, if I'm in Cleveland Browns training camp, again, I backtrack to what I said earlier. If I'm watching Joe Flacco in practice, there's zero chance I'm blown away. You know what you're getting with him, and it's getting slower as he ages. Yeah. Kenny Pickett, he's not good. You know what you're getting with him. He is at best a backup, a frail one, a guy that cannot see past his first read, and he has no mobility. And then you've got this Dylan Gabriel, like you said, no knock on him. Physically, he's just going to struggle at this level. He doesn't have the elite talent. He's not very mobile. He cannot see over the line very well. We don't know about his ability to read a defense, but then you bring in Shedeur. You have the physical talent. You have the ability to be mobile. You have some tenacity. You have some heart. Look, obviously there was some issues with his interviews. I've heard rumors, and I don't know if it's true. I heard rumors that he was in there with an earbud in his ear, listening to music while he's with. Who knows, right? Like 32 teams passed on him for 5 rounds. There's something happened. And I don't think it has anything to do with his level of talent. I'll just
Well,
leave
it
it
sure
at
isn't his character. Let's talk about his character, Ant.
that. Okay.
Let's go there.
Tell us what you know.
What is he on interviews? Even there was on one practice, they rushed this one of his teammates who was going to. They saw Shedeur and they was going to stop the interview and come to Shedeur and said, don't do that. Go ahead and finish with the interview. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. Knowing if I was a great player like what I believe Shedeur is and going to be, he has handled this situation, bro, better than I would have. Because I've already, people that know me, that when they played with me knows I wouldn't be able to contain myself. Character? Yeah. He has handled himself like a pro.
Bro, even the prank call. Even a prank call. Remember, they got a prank call.
I forgot about that.
Saying that they drafted him. And, he took that in stride. If there was one word I could use for him, it's the same word I actually used with Jaden Daniels. Now, Jaden Daniels might have just been more attentive in the interviews. I don't know. We're not in those rooms.
I wasn't there, man.
But humility, man, he's shown it. He's shown a history of humility. I think that because his dad is prime time, that reputation of being a braggart really has befallen on him, maybe unwarranted.
Bro, the only thing I ever saw him do was just throw us up. They've been doing that since he was a boy, though. Yeah. You know, as kids, we have this thing that we would do. He just happened to do that, and it's just stuck with him since he was a little boy. I never saw him before games talk junk, during games, or really after. Not really hard, bro. To where
and like you said, Crash, the way he handled this situation, I really feel, look, not for nothing, but let's rewind the clock back to what year was Dion drafted? 1988, 91, somewhere late 80s, early 90s.
89? Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember.
And remember how flashy he was when he came out? He was covered in the chains. He had the gang with him. He had his gangsters with him. I just feel like he would have been a little bit more of a prima donna about the whole thing. Shedeur was expected to go in the first round, Crash. Yeah. It ended up in round 5, and he didn't cry. He didn't throw a fit. He went and started doing his job with his team. Yeah. And you know me, look, I got no sympathy for the Browns whatsoever, but in a way, I wish he wouldn't have gone there, because I agree with you. I think he's going to be a player in this league. I don't know how it's all going to plan out. And, he's a man of God too. At least he claims to be. So I pray that the Lord blesses him Friday and for the rest of his career, man. I really hope he shows everybody what they passed.
Yeah, me too, man, for his sake, and just what he's endured. Because it really takes me back to all the way back to high school, the politics, and even into my pro football. So I can identify. How could I not? You know what I mean? Right. But the way that he's handled it, because when you're falsely accused, especially attacking your character, bro, there's nothing worse, right?
Yep.
But when that's not really who you are, like, for instance, I talk about it all the time, bro. Okay, if I wear this backwards, does that make me a gang member? Does that really? Or a thug? I just chose to. Why? I'm an ex-football player. What if I'm an ex-football player? What? I'm just giving you know what I mean? We're so good in our society about projecting people and throwing our projections of our perception off on other people. Amen? When it's not really them at all, bro. Nope. And time's going to tell. And I'm going to make a statement today.
Go ahead.
I'm going to make a statement. I got off of you can't. Oh, one other thing I'll add. This is what I wanted to add. Listen, his sales are up above anybody that's any rookie. If I'm not mistaken.
You mean gear, like his jersey and that?
His jersey sales is surpassed even Cam Ward's.
That's impressive for anybody to put on anything Browns related.
So I'm going to tell you
alone is impressive. Sorry, Browns fans, don't kill me.
I'm going to tell you something. Apparently, the Browns fans want Shedeur Sanders as their starting quarterback and their future.
Hey, if that's true, you guys let us know down in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Now, some may know, going back to 1981, because I lived out in Houston, Texas with my dad, I was a Houston Oilers fan and a Tennessee Titans fan ever since 1981. Well, when they traded A.J. Brown, enough was enough. And
Yeah.
I boycotted the Tennessee Titans. So I have a statement to the Browns tonight.
What is happening here? Crash, I already called you out earlier. I said you better not have a Browns jersey. What is happening? Oh, we're going to have to put the Be Right Back logo up.
Oh, so, I don't have a jersey. I don't have a jersey, but I don't find it a coincidence that this is actually my school colors.
Interesting.
Where I went to high school is this. The Browns colors are school colors.
Wow.
So I'm saying
You're a
tonight
Browns fan
that.
this year.
Oh yeah, no. If the Browns make the right call, I'm gonna predict this. If you start Shedeur Sanders, you will have a wild card. You want to bet this year, a future? They will go to the playoffs. Wild card.
It hinges on them starting Shedeur, though, in your opinion.
Only.
Okay, good, because that brings us into our next segment.
I will be a Cleveland Browns fan.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. And listen, Crash, one thing I do agree with you on.
Yeah.
And I love this about it. This is one of the reasons we love this sport.
Yes.
The field is the great equalizer, right? All that chatter, all the opinions go out the door when the play is left on the field and all you have is your heart and your hustle. That's it.
Any given Sunday, baby. Listen, what's Crash always say? It's military terms. Hey, what's the best surprise? The what?
The improvise.
The element of surprise.
Oh, the element of surprise. Yeah. Well,
so this could be one of those sayings where Shedeur just takes it by storm. There's a person that a lot of people are going to say that's going to be offensive player of the year. That's Travis Hunter and one other, Genty. Okay, I got Jenny on my radar also.
Oh, you mean for the offensive rookie of the year? Yeah,
AFC.
Yep.
As they start Shedeur Sanders, I'm going to say he's also a future pick for the AFC player rookie of the year.
That would be interesting. But we have to move on from him because they do have the rest of the team. And let me tell you this. I think that if what you say comes to fruition, and I don't mean making it to the playoffs or anything like that. I mean just starting Shedeur. I think that changes their trajectory because let's be honest. Their trajectory with Joe Flacco is not a good one. Although they do have some other weapons outside there. Let's look at what they got on their team. Don't forget their first pick this year. Wasn't it Quinshon Judkins, or was he round 2? I know they picked up that running back from Ohio State. He's awesome because Nick Chubb is gone. And Nick Chubb, unfortunately, his career really ended when he blasted his ACL, MCL for the second time 2 years ago. Yep. Yeah. But I think that he is going to be a force to be reckoned with out there. And then you've got Jerome Ford too. So you've got that dual threat coming out of the backfield. Their wide receiver core is not bad in Jerry Jeudy. And
I love him.
I think that Deontay Johnson, former Steeler, a little bit of a head case.
Tell us about him. You know about him. I was watching an interview about him today.
He runs some of the cleanest routes you've ever seen. He's got clean routes. He's got good hands. He has had a mental problem for the last couple of years. I don't know if it's that his heart wasn't in it. I don't know if that I think if I really want to put my finger on it, and this is just my guess, I think that because of him internally feeling undervalued and not appreciated enough, he kind of mentally checked out. And not for nothing, but the NFL is it does stand for not for long.
Well, hey, listen,
there's little mercy for that. There's no room for that.
I'm a guy that played on 5 different teams, helped coach several teams. sometimes that fresh start can make a huge difference for a guy.
This will be his third fresh start. Don't forget he went to Carolina, then he
Mhm.
ended up in Baltimore, and he's been cut and back and forth. This is his third fresh start, but for Deontay Johnson, I think that he's had enough time to reflect to know that if he doesn't just put his effort into the field and let his play talk for him, he's in a very similar situation to Shedeur. There's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of opinion. Both of them are extremely talented. It's up to them to bring it on the field and do something with it.
Yeah, bro. Listen, what's Crash always say? Defense, what?
Wins championships.
This was the best defense in the National Football League, if I'm not mistaken, last year.
It's up there in the top for sure in almost every
this
category. And they
defensive
re-signed
dominance, bro.
They re-signed their big boy.
I even watched the Rice. The dog pound baby is back. And I'm telling you, when I watched this defense, I picked them 2 years ago to actually be a sleeper go to Super Bowl when Deshaun was healthy.
Well, they do have a chance to do that defensively. I mean, you got Myles Garrett, and that already, right off the rip, you know that these edge rushers Crash. That's why they're getting paid $40 million now, because they are game changers. You know, you can move the ball down the field, have your nice first and second down, pick up 30, 40 yards, maybe even get into a sniff of field goal range. And one big sack and one big pressure and one big rush of the quarterback can change the trajectory of the game. These guys are game wreckers between Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, and a few other guys that are out there. These are the guys who, there's a reason they make $40 million a year. These guys can change the game. And what's going on in their secondary isn't too bad neither.
Hey, listen, they bolstered their defensive line. They brought in addition veteran Malik Collins.
Yeah.
A development young player like Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire.
Yep.
Who will compete the opposite side of Garrett, man.
Yep. My only question for them, their defensive line is solid. It's a top 5 in the NFL for sure, arguably top 3. My question mark for them is in the middle of the field. Their linebacking core.
This is a team that could use Parsons. All bets are on, baby. If they were to make that move and get him on the opposite side of Garrett, 2 edge rushers like that, bro.
Yeah, that's ridiculous if they had that.
Oh my God. I would make the move. I would do it. I would pull the trigger on that one. I would make the move, bro. I would personally.
You remember we were talking about the Buffalo Bills having $900,000 in cap space, so they can't even do anything with Cook. But Cleveland has $19 million to play with.
That's what I'm saying. Oh my God!
You're gonna need double that to get Micah, but you might be able to restructure stuff.
They could get Parsons, and they could get. Could they afford that though? Could they get the old boy out of Washington, the wide receiver? Oh my God! That changed everything, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'd have to get one of them though. I think their receiving core is it's got some depth over there too, right? Like not only do you have Jerry Jeudy and Deontay Johnson, but you got Cedric Tillman.
You know who I love the most?
And you got that. David Njoku is their tight end, man. That guy's a knockout, bro.
He's a beast. Yes, he's a beast, bro.
Yes. I know him well because he is unfortunately a Steeler killer. He kills them. They don't usually have somebody that matches up well with him, but that's true of the whole NFL. No one matches up well with him.
Specimen, dog. I love that brother, man.
Yeah, you're not going to put a cornerback on him because he'll just embarrass them physically. And he's too fast for a linebacker. And if you do put your free safety on him, then you've just opened up half the field.
Yeah,
so there is some options out there. And, you know, the thing is that in the NFL, you need time for those plays to develop. When I look at their QB depth chart again, Crash, I'm back to the fact that I think the only person that can buy them more than 3 seconds is Shedeur Sanders. You ain't getting that out of Joe Flacco. He's got to be the quick hitter. He's got to get the ball out of his hands fast, or he's going to be getting his body rocked.
You lose your reflexes. You lose a step, man. You lose your timing.
Yep.
And we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. This could all be a smoke screen, and they know that Shedeur is going to be their starter. I'm not saying that's true. I don't know. Okay?
Yeah.
Or maybe it could be, like I said, us being men of faith, it could be God's divine intervention of a blessing, Shedeur, and that door being open. So quick text, what do you think? They played Carolina, man. And listen, Carolina Panthers did not have a great pass rush last year. So in all actuality, this could be a really great game for him to get out there, get his feet wet. And also, let's not make another mistake that we hear. Well, it's only preseason. I can't stand that. Let's remember something. These guys are all trying to get positions in the NFL.
Yep.
Let's remember that. I can't stand when they go, oh, it's only preseason. No, it's competitiveness. And I mean,
it is.
They're going toe to toe, bro.
It is. And look, you might be able to make that argument. It's only preseason when you look at the final score. Okay, fine. The final score doesn't matter. But the individual performances can 100% be judged based on what type of effort someone's putting in and then what type of talent they're bringing to the field. I agree with you on that. My prediction for them, I think they've got their work cut out for them. I think that without a miracle, this is a team that wins 6 or 7 games. I think that if you're right and they do flash Shedeur in there and he is the miracle man for them and God is with him, then they pull out 10 wins. And
well, he has been all of his career. This follows right into his suit, man. Look at his, if people need to go back and look at his career and also the games in college, and he had to come back most times. And come on, you know this answer. Everybody should, if you know football. What's the sign of a great quarterback? The legends. What are they great at? 1001.
Reading plays, reading defenses. They're hard.
Keep going.
Throwing the football. You got to be
good
at that. Leading their team, being a leader.
Keep going.
All right. So what did I say? I said reading a defense, being a leader, bouncing back.
What did John Elway? Let's go back to Marino, Elway, Montana, Brett Favre. Can I
improvise?
Keep going. Tom Brady.
That would have been a good one.
Tom Brady. What were they all great at doing? Shedeur's got this. Shedeur's got this.
Throwing the football. Great hands.
Coming back in the fourth quarter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Even if they're down 14-21, all those great quarterbacks had the same thing in common. And go back and look at Shedeur Sanders' history. He has that thing in him, man. Tell me that Joe has that. Tell me that Dylan has that. And you got an argument. I'm making an argument right now. None of them have that. But
I think we're going to find out starting Friday. Although, unfortunately for him, he's not going to get a chance to come back in the fourth quarter because somebody else will probably be in by that point. But you know what? Here's hoping that he does well enough, or look, the Lord's will be done. We'll find out who their starter is week 1. We'll see it. Guys, do us a favor. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Share this with somebody else. And guess what? If you didn't hear it already, we're going to be live the next time we do this. So we can't wait to be interacting with you guys and just being able to chop it up. And we're not the type of podcasters that just want to come up and talk. We believe the Bible when it says be slow to speak and quick to listen. So we want this show to be about what you guys want. So please join the community as we're coming up. We're still, Crash, tell me if I'm wrong here, but we're still opening the door for those first few subscribers to get a free seat at the table for our Patreon channel where you'll get our free picks. That's going to be member only. And you guys, right now, this is your last opportunity to get in and get it for free before we blow up, because Lord willing, that's going to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're still holding on to 29. So I'm telling you, when we get 3 weeks into the season and you're seeing old Crashy Boy hitting these teams, don't come back later and say, I wish I would have supported.
Or feel free to pay us $30 a month for the info. We're down with that too.
There it is.
All right. Thanks for being with us, guys. Crash, we'll see you in the next one. Will you feel like going live tomorrow?
Let's try it, man.
All right. We'll do it then. Guys, we'll see you live tomorrow. Looking forward to it. God bless you all.
God bless.